Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to be working on mole ratios and reaction stoichiometry with yours truly, Amy.
Hello.
Alright, first thing we're going to do is measure and record the mass of a clean, dry evaporating dish and a watch glass assembled together with the watch glass acting as a cover on top of the evaporating dish. The mass for this setup is 55.424 grams, and we will record this. Excellent. Next, we will carefully add 0.3 to 0.4 grams of solid sodium bicarbonate, also known as NaHCO3, to the evaporating dish. And we will not do this over the balance, mainly because we don't want to contaminate the balance. Now that we've added the sodium bicarbonate to the evaporating dish, we'll now take the mass of the sodium bicarbonate with the evaporating dish and the watch glass. All three components together weigh 55.884 grams, which will be recorded here. Alright, the next step is to obtain about 5 mils of hydrochloric acid in a small beaker. It's very important to be careful with this hydrochloric acid, as it can cause severe burns to skin. Using a dropper pipette, we're going to add the hydrochloric acid drop by drop to the sodium bicarbonate here in the evaporating dish. A reaction will be evident by bubbling. When you observe the bubbling, you know the reaction is taking place. We're going to gently mix the reactants upon addition of the hydrochloric acid with every 4 to 5 drops. And we'll continue to add the hydrochloric acid until the bubbling stops and all of the sodium bicarbonate is dissolved. This will indicate that the reaction is complete.
Take a minute.
Alright. Now that the reaction is complete, we have this set up with a stand, a ring clamp, and a wire gauze for heating. We're going to cover the evaporating dish with the glass and place it on the wire gauze, as you can see here. Here we will ignite a Bunsen burner to use as a heat source to gently heat the solution that is covered by the evaporating dish. There it is. We're going to gently heat the solution in the covered evaporating dish using a Bunsen burner flame in order to remove the water generated from the reaction, as well as any excess hydrochloric acid in the solution. The flame should be adjusted to a somewhat lower temperature and wafted under the evaporating dish consistently. We will continue heating until all the contents are completely dry. The watch glass cover itself should also be dry. Once all the water has evaporated from the evaporating dish and from the watch glass top, remove the watch glass and set on the cooling pad. Then remove the evaporating dish and also set on the cooling pad. Once this has cooled to room temperature, we will take the mass of the evaporating dish, the watch glass, and the contents inside. While we're waiting for the sodium bicarbonate to cool down to room temperature, we will repeat this experiment with sodium carbonate. The first one was sodium bicarbonate, and now we're doing it with sodium carbonate. So we have the evaporating dish and the watch glass, which we will weigh first. The weight of this setup is 52.037 grams, which we will record here. Into this we will add 0.3 to 0.4 grams of sodium carbonate. The weight of this setup, watch glass, evaporating dish, and sodium carbonate is 52.316 grams. And we'll re-record it as such. Now we will take the setup and place the evaporating dish on top of the wire gauze that is above the Bunsen burner on the ring stand. To this we will add hydrochloric acid in aliquots of 3 to 5 drops until the bubbling stops. Every 3 to 5 drops, we'll stir the mixture. Now that the bubbling from addition of hydrochloric acid is complete, we know that the reaction is complete, and we will ignite the Bunsen burner to gently heat the evaporating dish until all the water and excess hydrochloric acid has been removed from the evaporating dish. It's important that you heat this evaporating dish until all the water is gone, as well as the watch glass completely dry. Now that the water from the sodium carbonate, hydrochloric acid, has been evaporated from the evaporating dish and the watch glass, everything is completely dry. We'll remove it from the wire mesh and place on the cooling pad. Once this apparatus has come to room temperature, we will take its mass again. Now we can return to our initial sodium bicarbonate in the evaporating dish. It has cooled to room temperature, and we will find its mass. This is the mass of the sodium bicarbonate hydrochloric acid reaction with the watch glass and the evaporating dish. The mass of this apparatus is 55.740 grams. Prior to heating, this weighed 55.884 grams. Now that the evaporating dish containing the sodium carbonate is completely dry and cooled to room temperature, we'll take its mass. Again, this is the mass of the sodium carbonate, evaporating dish, and watch glass. Altogether, this setup weighs 52.194 grams. For the sodium carbonate, the starting mass was 52.037 grams. The finishing mass is 52.194 grams. This concludes the lab on molar ratios and stoichiometry. Perform your analysis in your lab notebooks.